Welcome back to the Quickbooks Video Series hosted by Protea Academy. In today's episode, we'll take a look at cash flow reports. Let's first navigate to the left-hand panel to our Reports tab. Then we will go to our Statement of Cash Flow Reports. Your Statement of Cash Flow Report is one of your most important reports. Even though your profit and loss will show you how much profit you're making, and your balance sheet will show you your assets and liabilities, all really important to understand and know to run your business. At the end of the day, you need to have enough cash flow to be able to pay for your expenses, pay off your liabilities, and fund your assets. If you aren't able to manage your cash flow, you'll never have a successful business. Let's take an in-depth look at how the cash flow functions. So at the top of the cash flow, we will have the same options as we have on all our other reports. And we can pull the cash flow for a certain period, change our columns and our displays to run our report. It's important to note that a cash flow is for a specific period, but at the end, it will give you a period balance at your ending date. At the top, we have our income. This is purely the number from your profit and loss statement, your net income. Underneath, we then have the adjustments we needed to take from net income to make it a net cash flow position. So here we can see our adjustments. Our first adjustment is our accounts receivable. Our accounts receivable movement. We take the movement in accounts receivable as this indicates whether cash flowed in or flowed out. Our cash receivable is currently a negative. That means that we received less money. That means that we were creating invoices and not getting paid for them. This is not the ideal situation. We would prefer to have accounts receivable in a positive position. Then we take a look at accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation is a non-cash item and therefore needs to be added back to your profit. We have our accounts payable movement on the balance sheet. This is in a positive position, again showing that we have more bills than we have been paying, as if we were paying our bills, we would have a negative position. You'll also see our credit card movement. In these items, you'll also see stock movements, prepaid movements, accruals movements, basically any either non-cash items that are on your profit and loss or current and assets and current liability movements. This now gets us to a net cash position. We then have two further categories, investing activities and financing activities. Let's take a look at investing activities. Investing activities are where you invest in activity like a current asset, for instance, fixed assets. As you can see, our number here is a negative. This is because we spent money on investing in fixed assets and therefore creating a negative cash flow perspective. If we look at our financing activities, these are generally our loans. These are long-term liabilities. And as we can see, we have a positive number here, showing that we received money into the entity in the way of a loan. If we had to just pull it for 1 month, maybe next month when we make a repayment, we would then have a negative cash flow position there. We then have our net cash flow position for the period, our net change, as well as our balance. We would also have an opening balance, but we only started the company in 2024, and therefore we don't have our opening cash flow balance and then the change in cash flow to match our closing balance. This closing cash flow balance will match your cash balance in your balance sheet and is always a good check to do if you're creating a cash flow. As with all the reports we've already looked at, we have the same functionalities to email, print, export. Let's add it to our management reports as we have been with all our reports so that we can take a look at our finance package in our last video. You can also then customize the report. Let's look at some of the customizations. We have the standard customizations we looked at in previous videos, whether you want to have your negative in brackets or in red. We can also then select what we want our columns to show by month or by class. And then we can also filter by customer or vendor or product and service. This is quite handy to see, are you making cash on this customer, vendor, or especially, are you making cash flow on a certain product? Your statement of cash flow is your most important report for your cash flow. If we go look at the business overview, you'll see many reports on the profit and loss and the balance sheet, but this is our only cash report and therefore is integral for your business success. Thank you for watching this episode of the QuickBooks Video Series hosted by Protea Academy. In the next episode, we'll take a look at inventory summaries.